Hello ladies and gentlemen, Safe House here, and today I'm going to be talking to you about the different classes in ArcheAge and how they work, because there are a crazy amount of them, 120 to be exact. Each class is made up of 3 skill sets to decide which abilities you have access to, and therefore what type of class you'll be playing. There are 10 different skill sets to choose from that I'll discuss briefly soon, as well as videos to come covering them all, so keep an eye out for that. The Holy Trinity isn't dead in ArcheAge, but it is a lot more flexible than a lot of other games. Tanks and healers will always be in high demand though, as they always are, so take that into consideration when you are deciding on a class. You may also find that leveling as a DPS and then switching to a healer or tank at level 50 to be beneficial, otherwise leveling can be very slow. So you do take 2 out of the 3 trees that you want to use at level 50, but maybe just throw in Sorcery, Battle Rage or Archery in there, and then switch your third one in at level 50. It is a lot easier to level up these skills once you do hit 50, obviously you just get a lot more experience for doing everything. Swapping classes is incredibly easy in ArcheAge. All you have to do is to go to a temple priestess, you may know her as the chick you go to when you die, and interact with her, pay a small amount of gold and swap out one tree for another. So it is as simple as that. It saves re-rolling and allows you to try out a bunch of different skills really easily. Okay, now I'll quickly mention each tree and what it is used for so you get a bit of an idea about everything. So Battle Rage is your melee DPS tree with a decent amount of mobility and high CC. Sorcery is your mage tree, obviously, that has a huge amount of burst and a bit of utility as well with a lot of slows. Archery is obviously your ranged physical damage tree with a lot of slows, snares and consistent damage, not as bursty as the first two, but with a really large range and all that mobility it is hard to get to them. Vitalism is full of heals and utility, so if you want to be a healer that is definitely one of the trees you want to look at. Occultism is a death magic kind of tree with low burst but good utility and some survivability, so some of your different tank classes may want to consider picking that one up. Shadowplay has a lot of tricks with stealth and a lot of mobility built into it. It also has a fair amount of damage too. Defense is pretty straightforward as it's all about having a lot of survivability and does bring a fair bit of CC to the table as well. Auramancy is a little different, focusing on mobility as well as having a lot of cleansers to keep you from being CC'd. So that comes in handy not only with your glass cannon type of damage dealers, but also your tanks to make sure they don't get CC'd out of fights as well. Witchcraft is your crowd control god tree that also has a couple of CC immunities as well. It is a really strong tree that you should definitely consider picking up no matter what class you are playing. And finally Songcraft, which is a utility tree with heals thrown in as well. So if you want to be a healer, you gotta toss up between Songcraft and Vitalism. You can take both, but I wouldn't recommend it in most cases. Some of these trees tie together really well and combo off each other, resulting in some serious overpoweredness. If you want to check out some of the top classes in my opinion, I'll chuck a link in the description for you to check out with my top 5 builds. You generally want to have your main tree, a secondary tree, and then a support tree that you only take a few points in. Obviously there are a lot of options, but generally if you try and spread your points over the 3 trees too evenly, you won't be able to reach some of the better passives in your main tree, and your class may struggle for it, as the passives do require points spent to obtain. The best way to go about it is to decide on what type of class you want to play, and then pick a tree that suits that style most. From there, grab a secondary tree that you think is going to support your class well, and then for your third tree, grab one that's got like 2 or 3 abilities that you want that you think are going to help you out as a whole. I do recommend grabbing Shadowplay a lot. It does come in handy so often in ArcheAge, it's crazy. Unless you were going for a tank or a healer, there are probably some better options for you guys, but just having stealth is just a ridiculous thing in ArcheAge for trade packs and questing and war zones, and it just comes in handy just way too often not to give it a go at least. The thing is, you really can do anything you want. If you want an archer that can throw out heals as well, you can do it. It's going to be hard to itemize for. I'm not saying it's going to be strong, but you can do really anything you want, and as long as you enjoy it, then why not? I will chuck a link to the wiki in the description, along with a link to a class builder for you to experiment with some classes, and my top 5 builds for you to consider. Anyway, I hope this helped you understand how classes work a bit more in ArcheAge, because it can be quite confusing having so many options. Good luck picking one you enjoy, and if you have any further questions, don't hesitate to throw them down in the comments section below. Best of luck, and I hope to see you next time.